Yeah, it's your boy Ray on the mic. Let's go.
If we do not handle our own perception, we will fall into the trap of stunting our team's growth. What up, y'all? My name is Ray White, and I want to speak to the mid-level leaders out there building, developing, and shaping their team culture to be effective, belonging, and to thrive. Quick personal story. In my household, my wife is our resident botanist, right? We got plants everywhere. There's plants all over the place and different types of styles of plants that I don't even know what they do or who they are. But I realized that she tends to them in a way that cares and supports their own particular growth. Some plants need to be watered every day. Some plants need to be watered once a month. Some plants just need to move their position around the house so that way they can be happy, get the right amount of sunlight, and can grow to be as big as they want to be, right? I had this small succulent about 1.5 years ago that sat actually right here in my office, and it was neglected. My wife said, give me that. She took it, and that succulent is like literally taking over a table. It's taking over the table in our room, and it's wild. And that's all because somebody took some intentional time and care to see what it needs and help it grow. We have that same level of initial support and same level of responsibility when it comes to our team, who we're leading, how we're leading them, for them to be effective and thrive. And if we don't take the time to do that and have our perception initial part of that work, we will shift and shape and stunt their growth and eventually lead our teams to more burnout, disengagement, unfortunately, want to leave because we aren't helping support them in their development. What I want to do in this episode is provide you 6 mindsets that you as a mid-level leader need to have if you want to help initiate strong and sustainable growth within your team, not a stunted growth for your team. So let's dive into it. First mindset that can stunt your team's growth is a focus on your own self-image. You and how you see yourself and the ego that you have can get in the way of your team growing and thriving the way they need to do. You could be the type of leader that is only focused on making sure that your initiatives, your title, your voice is the loudest one, is heard, it is top of everybody's mind, more than the team that working with you and helping support those types of things. We could be leaders that really has an egocentric way of getting things done and want all the glory, want all the fame. And when a team member sees that, it becomes a little bit off-putting because it's like, you ain't the only one out here putting on the work, right? It's like a ball hog on a team. Nobody wants to play with them. What we need to do, the mindset that needs to shift there, is to put the ego off of yourself and put more focus and emphasis on others. Be a servant-minded leader who is stepping into this space. Yes, you have a position and power that you are using, but you're using that to help the team get better. You're using that to focus on what they need to be successful, providing them the resources necessary, giving them the accolades for all the work that's been done to help reach the greater organizational goal versus trying to only put the effort and emphasis on yourself. So the first mindset, take your focus off yourself and your own self-image and put the focus back on others to help develop them in their growth. The second mindset that will stunt your team's growth is to maintain status quo. Whew. Nobody likes to ruffle the feathers or go against the grain, but doing so can detriment your team's ability to think outside the box, to practice their own creativity and skill sets, and even put some emphasis on the processes, procedures, systems that are providing toxicity or detriment to somebody's identity and somebody's ability to grow in the institution. And you as a leader has a huge role in ensuring if certain things get just slide because you don't want to be that one that is challenging and ruffling the feathers, or somebody who is constantly going against the grain and being able to put emphasis on things changing in a way that you need to see to be changed.
Wow.
And there's 2 different extremes there. We got to be the ones to be able to find that middle. So our mindset then, instead of just being focused on status quo, what everybody else is doing around us, is to constructively challenge in areas and ways where you know is going to provide a benefit to the people that you're working with and for the overall outcome you're looking to reach. creatively challenge. It's a healthy space to have a dialogue with the people who are setting these standards and changes, to ask them intentionally if what they are doing and if what they are providing is for the greater good and benefit, as well as meeting the end goal. We don't want to be able just to do the work and not think about the KPIs and the strategic metrics that we are trying to hit, but we also don't want to do that in the detriment of the people that we're trying to serve and the people who will be helping usher in that level of work. So being mindful that our constructive criticism is finding the tactful ways to speak up and to share and to provide some feedback when it comes to critically ensuring that the culture, the climate, and the mission is all being met in a way that is honoring people and respecting them and working towards the right things at the right time. So shift your mindset from keeping status quo and going with the flow to constructively challenging in areas that's going to help benefit you and the team down the road. The third mindset that can stunt your team's growth is passing the blame. Being a leader that doesn't take accountability for their own actions or being able to take ownership of what's going on around them, who creates a real damper in the team's ability to put trust into you and put trust into the people leading the institution as a whole. When people keep pointing fingers at one another and not necessarily stepping in and saying, hey, that's on me and I can make a change, it doesn't feel right. It makes it really hard for folks who fail or who are in power being able to know that, hey, somebody's gonna, there's a lack of trust when people are passing blame to one another, and you never know if you're going to be thrown under the bus if something goes wrong or something goes down. Our solution to that type of mindset is to take responsibility, being able to own what it is that you control, being able to own what it is that you said that you were supposed to accomplish and do, and knowing that if something fails, you can take ownership and correct it for the better moving forward. And even if the failure falls on somebody else, there's an aspect in our leadership to know that, because as the person overseeing that work, it's your responsibility to ensure that it's done in a certain time, a certain manner. But being able to navigate that level of complexity in a way that doesn't put the blame on somebody else for not doing their job, but being able to say, you know what, because of that, this is what I plan on doing moving forward, to take ownership and accountability of that. In which actually, there's a video right here, this thumbnail here. Watch this video, because this video talks quite a bit about ways that you can own and take accountability for your actions and responsibility. So don't stunt your team's growth with this third mindset of passing the blame on other people to then taking personal responsibility of what it is that you control and what your ability in that space. The fourth mindset that can stunt your team's growth is being micro-focused. It's like super microscopic focus on a particular initiative, outcome, effort, where your blinders are so focused and you are unable to see anything outside of your peripherals. Doing so could create silos. It could create stubbornness in some ways. It can create lack of understanding the downstream effects of your efforts and actions because you're so focused on right here. The mindset there can encourage the teams to not think about the other people affected by the work, and could cause some pretty damaging issues for other people if all they're focusing on is what they need to get done and doesn't impact other people. And if it impacts the other people, then they can go back to that third mindset of passing the blame, saying, well, they didn't do their job, I did mine. You know what I'm saying? So micro focus can have a place in the work that we do. The solution to that mindset is setting a balance, knowing that we got to see the forest through the trees. We got to be able to take our heads up a little bit and understand the impact of the work on the larger system, and being able to know that, yes, we do control this focus here, but what we can control does play a huge role in the greater good. So being a leader that shifts your mindset from only focusing on the small, minute things to expanding your scope to find that balance of when to take the efforts to be intentionally focused and to see the trees and see everything and how it all impacts around your organization. The fifth mindset that can stunt your team's growth is being team independent. When you think that it's all you are the one, you are it, you hit your chest 3 times and say, you know what, it's all me. put the team on my back. We gonna go forward and get this done. That level of independence and individualism can help in some of the initiatives that you're working towards. But as leaders, we're the ones that are creating a team environment and a team dynamic where we all are moving forward in that work. The independent perspective does create more silos and more division across your departments, across other team members. It can create some division to people who don't follow your standards or the way that you do certain things or how you see the work, because you're so focused on you and so focused on your own independence, thinking like you're on an island out there. Nobody's on an island. Everything we do is connected. Everything we do is interconnected and related. So when we shift our mindset from a team independence to a one team, one dream, it allows us to then say, okay, what I do impacts you, what you do impacts me. So how do we get to know each other to make sure that what we are doing is for the greater goal that we're trying to strive towards? How do we encourage our team members to see the different functions that we are a part of as exactly that, functions that play a role in the greater system? The way that the functions work, the inner dynamics that they play has to be understood, learned, and cared for. That's sort of collective in reaching that end goal, instead of just a person, one individual, or one team pushing everything across the finish line. So show the connections, check in with everybody to see how those connections work, and be a person that is helping your team grow by shifting your mindset from solely being independent to having a one team, one dream mentality. The last mindset that can really stunt your team's growth is being apathetic. I don't care how that goes. I don't care how you feel. Sure, turn it in. That's only meeting 60% of the requirements. If you're a leader that carries apathy within the teams, again, that filters in the way that other teams see the work that they want to do as well. Then that's when projects, deadlines, work efforts, the relational aspect tends to crumble if you walk around as if you don't care. If we are leaders that continue to practice apathy, we will see our teams and organizations crumble. Rather, the mindset that we need to have is to practice being empathetic. Empathy plays a role in helping other people feel valued and see how they can show up and be present in the work that we provide. And your role as a leader practicing empathy makes the connections to show that, hey, I see you as a person. I see what you're trying to do. And I want to ensure that what you're doing is being seen, heard, valued, and met within our organization and the work that we're a part of. And want you to be a part of the decisions and the efforts working to get that done. When we practice the empathetic side, it means that we don't really care about what they say or do. And we don't really care about how they feel about we don't care about what they say or do, right? But having some empathy, being a leader that has that level of mindset, it trickles into the other mindsets too, where we are connecting with other folks on our teams. We are practicing knowing how our role impacts other people. We're also being mindful that what we do plays a role in other people's work as well. And we just be able to shore that up in a cleaner, better way. So being empathetic is a mindset that helps your team grow in their ability to develop, versus being apathetic, which stunts them and keeps them where they are. So again, the 6 mindsets that will stifle your team's growth: being focused on yourself, keeping the status quo, passing the blame, being micro-focused, being team independent, and being apathetic. If you don't want your team to stunt their growth, do the exact opposite of those mindsets by practicing the mindsets that were articulated in this video. And I would love to hear how your team is growing and thriving within your leadership, as well as what are some of the mindsets that you see are stunting your team's ability to grow. And let's work together to figure out what we can do to elevate that, knowing that what you're going through is probably something that I am gone through or going through too, or we'll see in the future. So why not work together to see what we can do to develop that and change that in the way that we see, act, and do to help create stronger teams, more effective teams, and belonging teams within the workplace. Get at me at Ray Devontae on all social media platforms. I would love to talk more with you on how we all could develop as mid-level leaders with these organizations and develop ourselves and develop our teams to be great within our organizations. And let me know which stunted growth are you currently experiencing or others that you're experiencing as well. and let's talk together how we can help support each other through that effort.